The next speaker is Dr. Calvin Tan from Singapore University of Social Study. Calvin will address the importance of using technology in community care based on a joint project with University of Hong Kong. Calvin, please take over.
Thank you very much, Yuzi. Thanks, Oliver, inviting me to this important webinar that talks about AI and robotics. For my presentation, it's more the robotics part than the AI, because this research, thanks to the University of Hong Kong as well as the sponsoring nursing home in Hong Kong, we could complete this, and therefore today I have the opportunity to share with the audiences here. The topic is about technology and why is it crucial in community care, and I think this is a very suitable topic at this time of the year, or at this challenges we're facing, because one, the Singapore demographic is changing really quickly, and I think if we were to talk about a super age nation, it is not too late. In year 2030, we will have about 20% of the seniors will be over 65 years old, and we want to ensure that they can remain healthy as well as active in the community, and that's very important. We don't want to have many of them in nursing homes or in places where they find themselves constrained with just a certain environment that there is not much freedom for them to do what they like. Right? So it's important that we want to keep them active, keep them healthy, and when the time comes, because of the need for care authority, and towards the end of life, that should be as short as possible. So that's really the challenge that we would like to present and therefore also address. The next two slides is just to show that in Singapore, there are only so much land that we have to be able to accommodate the number of nursing homes. So today, we do have private nursing home, not-for-profit, as well as the public ones. And if you add up the not-for-profit and public ones, it is nearly 46 of them versus the private one. So it goes to show that there is need for homes that would not be able to sustain by itself as a business model, right? And how do we do that? And this slide itself shows the number of the nursing home beds that's available. Well, for the nursing home bed, you can see that we only can keep the numbers growing, by so much, and it will hit somewhere a saturation point, and this is also not sustainable, all right? So those are really some of the background, the people, the infrastructure, which means the limited land we have to build nursing homes, and how do we overcome that? So new care capacities and capabilities need to be developed, and we often talk about the hardware and the hardware, and the hardware is really the people. We need to train enough who can handle the social care aspects of it. So I think the first keynote presenter talked about different robots, and robots needs to adapt. Robots needs to also interact very strongly, so that it can have the maximum advantage in terms of outcome. So in Singapore, the Ministry of Health as well as the Housing Development Board, which provides public housing in Singapore, is trying to build active aging hubs around Singapore, and this year's target is up to 10. And this active aging hubs sits right in the heartland. It provides that kind of support in terms of activities, maybe sometimes in terms of meals and groceries to the seniors. And at the same time, within that community, the neighbors and friends around. Right? So there's a social and community aspect of it beyond just technology. And really, all these important goals, the goals to ensure that their physical and cognitively well-being is taken care of. We call this the golden age. Some call it the silver tsunami time, but we prefer to call it as a golden age because we see the opportunity there for extended either work, extended fun time for them, for seniors. And we all will grow old because we are all going to be seniors, right? And the second one is that aspect of loneliness and isolation that we try to also overcome through technology. I will talk a bit about it later. And finally, seniors, we want to let them age in place with, like I mentioned, the shortest acute care episodes. Because if it needs to happen, it should be as short as possible, less than 1 year, few months, or even few weeks, and then that would be optimal. So in this study with the University of Hong Kong, we look at dementia as the topic because if you look at dementia itself, it's one of the most challenging disease, and it's not because of aging. It's really just part of what happened when you're hit with this neuro-related illness, right? So in the present moment, about 50 million people worldwide has dementia, and the number will grow, nearly 10 million per year. By year 2050, about 150 million will be the number that we think will happen. And any one time, also, you see once you are 60 years old, the chances of having dementia is about 5% to 8%. And then, it actually grows up from there to, 75 or 85 years old. And the main category of dementia patients are those with Alzheimer's disease. And in Hong Kong, when we look at nursing home, there's long queues, people waiting to get in there. And when they get in, about nearly 30% of the residents who are over 60 years old have dementia. So therefore, in the community care itself, dementia seniors is also an important part that we have to plan for it, right? And this care itself, if we don't address it properly, it will be an expensive societal cost. One, it will also be taking a toll on the family members and the caregivers, the frontline workers, and without much guessing, right? COVID-19 pandemic actually affect a lot of people in terms of social distancing, right? So technology is what we are talking about, high tech, high touch. And this is the social robot we're talking about. It's not just a soft toy. We conducted the study in year 2019. And really the objective of this is, what is the role of a humanoid social robot, right? A humanoid social robot means one with the limbs, the hands, the legs, and a face that is very appealing. And even though in social robot category, I think you are fully aware there's the pets and dogs, that are the non-pets, which is APARA, and then the humanoids. So in the nursing home setting, a lot of times we might just look at seniors as homogeneous group of people, but actually it's not, right? Because they all have individual needs. So when we did some literature review before the study, we noticed that a lot of studies are still very group-based kind of behavior, and this is not necessarily very useful evidence that you can use to provide the quality of life for seniors. The second one is, in most studies, the social robots time with the seniors are very limited. It's insufficient. It's like half an hour a day and that's it. And then what do they do at the rest of the day, right? So that's another challenge. And the other part of it is, when we want to do a study, what are the popular and validated assessments that we should use, right? So MMSE for the mini mental state examination, geriatric depression scale, because we want to know, will they feel happier, will they feel more satisfied if they have a companion robot. And the third one is the agitation inventory, because we want them to improve in their behavior in terms of communication, talking to people, among their friends or caregivers, etc. So this is really a quick diagram to show the methodology, the rigor that we went through in terms of the RCT. We use this in, the humanoid social robot called Kabuchang is from Japan. It feels really nice when you touch it because the texture is there. It's meant to be a 3-year-old boy. It's way about that also. And there are sensors that will activate it. And for the study itself, we even created a video, right, to teach the assessors as well as the caregivers in the nursing home how to use this Kabuchang social robot. Because after that, what happens is we'll leave the social robot Kabuchang with the seniors, and then we don't care. We don't want to care about forcing them whether to use it or not to use it. It's meant to be very organic, so that everything is very natural and very individualized. It may sound unstructured, but the structured part of it is we do have a framework. The unstructured part of it is that we leave it to the seniors so that it is very natural interaction, and want to see what is the interaction. So this is a model. You can read papers about it. It's called the Seniors Technology Acceptance Model. And we have a couple of findings. I'm not trying to rush, but I think we are given limited time to give you a flavor of what we do, and then you can talk to us and investigate more together. The quantitative analysis that we derived from this randomized control trial of 103 seniors is that there is improvement in the neuropsychiatric index measurement. In terms of severity and distress, they are actually much better off after the intervention. Their cognitive impairment actually slowed down. The technology acceptance model, which goes to understand the attitude towards technology and the perceived usefulness of such an intervention, tells us that there is significance. It makes a difference. And finally, the utilization of the social robot, which the first speaker mentioned, what are the patterns. And we notice some of the patterns is the seniors really like to have some kind of companion that they can cuddle, they can chat, they can talk to, they can move the feet and the arms, and the robot will sing a song for them, will laugh with them, and will also possible for them to cause the social robot to sleep. And it being a mixed study, we do have some good practices that we found. Sorry, I skipped too fast. It's the right population, the competence improvement, attitudes, the companionship is really, really important. And my concluding slides is really, there is a lot of opportunities for us to use social robot. It doesn't have to be Kabuchang. It could be another social robot. There's going to be lots of them. You can see from the website. It's got to be affordable. It's got to be high tech and high touch. And with a multidisciplinary approach, we think that we can achieve the intent to improve the shortage of caregivers challenge, and also to overcome the social distancing and hygiene requirements that is forced on us by the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'd like to show that these are the references and the team that comes together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kelvin. We will be able to elaborate a bit more in the panel.